have Klaus Schwab at the meeting last time in Davos had the head of Moderna, I believe it was Moderna or Pfizer, talking about new pills. And when you take these pills, they're going to have a little tracking device in it, and that's going to ensure your compliance for it. And then he also talked about having, and I put this in my book at a previous one, putting an implant in your brain that will monitor your brain and your reaction to an audience and your reaction to different things, and they'll be able to do that. And he asked the head of Google about these brain monitoring devices, and he thought it was very plausible and was looking forward to it. At the same time, he's got an advisor named Yuval Harari who talks all about this sort of transhumanism, the melding of humans and computers. So they're really going to push that. In the meantime, it's actually public health and environmental authoritarianism that we're dealing with in the short term here. And I think their ultimate goal is to get the AI, down the road, because that's very scary technology, and they've already got people accepting the premise. We got people implanting microchips in their hands and their arms to open up car doors or to show their vax passports. So they have a certain percentage of the public more than willing to bow down to this future of, half human, half robotic and AI future.
It's crazy. I just want to play a quick video of that World Economic Forum big pharma guy talking about microchips in the pill, because he's, microchips, that's absurd. That's a conspiracy theory. Okay, well, take a look. Here's a big pharma CEO getting really excited about technology that's being developed. Take a quick look.
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
I just wanted to show you that clip, Mark, because some people say, no, microchips, that's crazy talk. It is crazy talk. It's crazier yet to hear it from the head of a pharmaceutical giant. Hey, Mark, I want to talk about one more quick thing before we go. One of the ways we got to know you over the years is through your work at Climate Depot, really focused on the global warming schemes of the United Nations. And every year they have a giant conference at some other resort somewhere beautiful in the world. They've been to Cancun. They've been to Bali or Fiji or one of those two. They've been to the nicest places in the world. This year they're going to Sharm el-Sheikh, which is a resort town on the Red Sea in Egypt. Yes. And I'd like to hear about your plans to go there, because we are going to be sending Rebel News journalists too.
Yes, well, this is going to be the year, and I believe it'll be the first UN conference where they're going to try to solidify this, because if you look at what they're trying to do, they're trying to combine COVID and climate. So what I'm expecting out of this, and I could be wrong, it could just be more on the climate end, but I expect a unified front, and I expect in the coming month, Ezra, more studies to come out, more media reports on how unchecked COVID and unchecked climate change will lead to more viruses. And that unless we do something about climate, we're going to end up with more COVIDs. In other words, if you don't support the UN Paris Agreement or Green New Deal style or net zero policies, you're a grandma killer because you're creating new viruses. I think they're going to try to solidify that at this meeting. I also think they're going to push the concept of an emergency. Now, Joe Biden, according to the Washington Post and Associated Press, was set to declare a national climate emergency in the U.S. in July, 2 months ago here in the United States. The now talk is they're going to wait till right after the midterms, which puts it squarely in the second week of this UN conference in Egypt this year in November. It's very possible that Joe Biden could be set his announcement to declare a national climate emergency, give himself 130 new executive emergency powers, wartime-like powers that will extend to governors and mayors, more thermostat controls, more controls on gas-powered cars, controls on car-free cities, all sorts of controls on meat. Whatever it is, it's an emergency, so we don't have time for democracy or legislation. These are going to be done by government officials, unelected bureaucrats. And so I think Biden is set to do that. I think this UN is going to set the stage, because what they want to do is they want to copy COVID. And they've been very open about this. They want to copy. The idea is they don't want to have any more dealing of legislation, hearings, debate in countries. They want to declare emergencies and go forward and do what they think is right, a la one-party Chinese rule. And that's what happened We're still living under the COVID emergency here in the United States. I assume you are still in Canada as well. We're still living under the 9/11 terrorism emergency declaration in the United States. So do you get the idea of how dangerous emergency powers are? Anyone running for office, front and center on their plank has to be reform of emergency power authorization. If you're running for office, this has to be changed, the criteria and the length in which politicians can extend these emergencies decades.
What you just saw was an excerpt from my nightly show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every weekday, I do a monologue. Usually it's about half an hour. Then I interview an interesting guest, and then we read my hate mail or my fan mail, whichever is more fun. It's only available behind a paywall, though. That's how we pay our bills here at Rebel News. We don't take a dime from Justin Trudeau. But the good news is it's only $8 a month, about half the price of Netflix. And in addition to my nightly show, you also get weekly shows from 4 other friends here at Rebel News. So you're getting 36 shows a month just for $8. I think it's worth it. And even if you're not quite sure, do it anyways, because we rely on viewers like you to keep us free and independent. I promise you I'll never take a dime from Trudeau. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com and click subscribe. Thanks.